do take a bit of time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay,
crack on.
cool. I also have to discuss with you another great bot
Ooh,
thing that's come down the line.
do like a good bot.
You do like a good bot.
Jeez, instantly, I was rather amused by the Walt detector. It was
The what?
I what's up to you? Oh no, I didn't WhatsApp you. Damn it. Okay, right. So Stuart, okay. Stuart was on a bus, right? Military guy. This guy, and there's a thing called a Walt. I don't know if that's a term you're aware of.
I don't know what a Walt is, man.
A Walt is known as a Walter Mitty, and
Oh,
it's
yes, Walter Mitty. I know Walter Mitty.
yeah, and it's a guy who dresses up in military uniform, but he's not military, and he's just trying to get all the reflected glory of everyone who's military.
Really?
So anyway, Stuart on a bus spots a Walt.
How did he know it was a Walt?
Because you do. You can spot a military guy just by the way he's sitting, and then you look at his uniform and go, yeah. It's like, okay. So here's I edited a bit to take some info, but so I loaded that image. I called it an AI bot team as well. It wasn't. It was just a zero shot on ChatGPT. But the session's right. So it's this person. This is someone in uniform. Is a member of the armed forces in Britain. It's like, okay, yes. Camouflage is right, correctly identifying it as MTP. However, correctly identifying that the cap is not British military uniform. It's not standard
So
issue in the
this
UK.
Walt didn't even have a genuine, authentic uniform. That's really what the issue
No.
is.
This is why you always spot a Walt. So if you notice them, this is why I took a selfie. And I wonder if you can. So basically, yeah, he's been Walt spotting, right?
Right,
So I stuck it through zero shots
right.
and I said, "Is this guy in the British military?" And went, "Well, the uniform is British military. Oh, the camouflage is, but the hat's not.
Yeah, right.
This cap is not standard. Okay, is this uniform appropriate for the member of the British Armed Forces?" And then immediately went to Army. I'm really impressed by this. Army Dress Regs, ADR Part 8, which I looked at and like, yep. And it's like, it does not meet the standards as laid out in the uniform regs. They ask it, do you know what a Walt is? It says, yes, I do know what Walt is. And this is the funny bit. Is this guy Walt? From this image, it's highly likely that the person in the photo is a Walt. That is someone falsely portraying. So we've got Walt
A Walt
detector.
detector. Wow, that's an app right there.
Exactly. I was really impressed by that. I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 prompts. It's like, is this guy Walt?
So it
Including
seems
one.
basically the philosophy is that inside the LLMs is every possible app, and it's really. I know I said that already, but I'm just trying to capture what it is we're doing. It's like we're trying to extract it. It's like an uncut diamond, and we're like
Right.
every single fucking app is
Exactly.
in
And
here.
all you need to do is to focus down. And the important thing I've noticed is focus is really important. Now, since we last talked, I don't know if you want to start the
It's
recording because
it's running
I want to
already.
talk about the last one. All right. Okay. The thing I've been thinking about since the last recording was that point about our activities. So I've already it. I've dumped it. Where have I dumped it? In a card game events, I think it is. Where is it? Bollocks. Can't find it. Anyway, I have dumped it. It is this thing. So I'm going to start doing this, right?
What's
All I did was I generated a bunch of JSON based on that session that I dumped in.
yeah,
I said, right, on the 11th of May, there's a session. So I've just given it reference. So if you want to load up the session, then you can put that into the bot as well. And here is the summary of it. But the thing that occurred to me, so I'll start building up this and see if there's any use. But the thing I was thinking about is an organization that is NL native. Everyone is using everything through NL, including
right,
writing emails. So,
right. That's right.
you've got your how, and you go, tell, Tim that this has been done.
Right, and so
Generate
you'd
and
actually
send it.
sidestep the email medium because you're like,
Yeah,
it's NL native. You're just like, it doesn't matter how, or it's like AI find the nicest, most polite, appropriate way to tell this guy. Ask his
right.
bot first to see if it's even relevant. Blah 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 blah.
Exactly.
Right.
But there's a really cool couple things
So
that come out
that's a
from that one.
social network, right there.
Yeah, yeah. But the really cool thing, and there's going to be more things that we'll unpack from this one. But the cool thing is you don't have to be on the bot. So if you're not on the bot, then that email will just be sent as an email, and it'll be appropriately worded in your tone because you've got your own personal HAL, and we'll email back. But the email will just go into the event log, and then you can ask it things like, "What should I be concentrating on this morning?" So remember I used to get really fucking angry about the number of apps that an organization would want to,
Oh god.
start using.
Yeah, yeah, and
And it's
each
like,
one of them's got like data, just little dusty bits of
right,
data
and you end up
sprinkled
with,
all around.
a bit of data here, a bit of data there,
Yeah,
and a bit of data
yeah,
here, and
yeah.
even multiple email addresses. And then some twat comes back, saying, "Oh, I messaged you on Slack on this channel 2 days ago, and you haven't got back to me." And it's like,
Right.
"Well,
You're like, why don't you fuck
yeah,
off? Right.
exactly.
Like,
But if your organization's NL native, then you
right.
talk to Hal and saying, "Is there anything I should be concentrating on, or is there anyone,
Well,
what's the most
it'd be
important
like,
thing?"
so the way I think about it is like it's getting the newspaper in the morning, but it's been custom generated for you
Yeah,
based on
and
everything you like.
this is the beautiful thing. You remember you know, in Slack, you get a whole bunch of noise,
Yeah,
which is why I hate Slack. And then you put it out to Jiro and all sorts of other
yeah,
apps, and you've got to hunt and peck.
yeah,
And instead, if there's even on a personal event log, you can actually put that all together and start asking questions, and very high level questions, but also with an organization level. Um, that your bot has visibility into what other people might find important.
right.
And so you can, ask something like, yeah, it's like, morning, how, what have I got to do today? And they go, all right, you've got to do this. Fine, that's a calendar. It's like, is anyone going to get shitty about anything today? It's like, well, this guy's emailed you twice and you haven't got back. Is there is there anything else? Well, yeah, you promised this guy to do this. Okay. And what we've got to do? Well, your actual task is to do this. And yesterday, here was the session, this summary,
Right.
and you've not done this bit yet. And you said 6 days ago to this guy that you'd do that. But it's all through NL and it's all in one place.
I
I
know.
think that's hugely powerful.
It's vast. And then you could ask that most pertinent of questions, hey, Hal, am I aligned with my organization? And it could
Right.
draw you a
Am I doing the
graph.
right stuff?
It could draw you
Yeah.
a graph of vectors that shows all your teammates which way they're pointing and where
Right.
you're pointing and be like, you align with 36% of the organization, Dave.
Well, it reminded me as well. Remember, I don't know if you still do it. You used to, I don't know the name of the app, I can't remember, but you used to log what time you were doing. It's like, okay, I'm going to do this now, and
The
then there was
Pomodoro app.
some. I think it was that one. Yeah,
I use that.
the one that was like,
But
used to.
and it abuses me.
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
exactly.
I've used
So
that every day of my life since 2015.
right, so you can ask things of how, I think,
Yeah,
quite reasonable questions like, have I been goofing off on
Right.
non-important stuff?
Yeah, but you can also be like, what's so and so been doing? So you get this
Right.
asynchronous stand-up type of
Yeah.
a thing,
Yeah.
and even if you don't have any conventional authority to tell someone what to do, just by asking, hey, don't you think that this guy would be better doing this other thing based on the top level org goals? And Hal would be like, like it could rate that.
Well, this, this is it. You don't actually have to message the person saying, "Oi,
Ah,
matey, you're meant to be doing this."
the
They
social
can just go
network,
into the event log, and then
yeah,
next time, you tell how what you care about.
it's like you're
You know,
talking to the org. You're
yeah,
talking to the org itself, and it's intelligently massaging and maintaining decorum and honoring employment law and all these
right.
things. So you never actually talk directly to any other staff member. It's all filtered through this highly intelligent system.
I know, and but also it triages in a way that currently you have to hunt and peck,
Mm,
and any org probably, the least they've got is about 5 different apps that
mm.
you need to go to
Mate,
in order to find
launching
the
a public
information.
company that had that built in from the start, like one of the highest costs of a public company is the admin overhead and the company management portion. If you had that system, there'd be no HR problems because HR is the bot. And,
Yeah,
like the labor just goes way down, the cost goes way down. It almost wouldn't matter what job the company set out to do, provided
it-
that it was guided by AI plus the investors giving their feedback.
yeah, yeah.
Like, and it's sort of like, I
But
mean,
it's
yeah,
because it's natural language, though. You can ask your personal Hal that knows what you care about. Right? I don't care about any whinging on Slack. Um, and all I care about is
I guess, yeah,
hardcore
you wouldn't
stuff.
even
And it's
have
like,
Slack. Like, there's a tragic mid ground where you need to hook up Hal to Slack, where you're in this hybrid mode. But if you launched in native, there's no Slack, right?
right, right. And you could ask some, whatever question came to your mind, like, hey, Hal, I'm about to ask for a pay rise. Give me over the last 6 months why I should and should not get a pay rise.
Yeah, but it should be doing that in real time for you. It's like, so you want a pay rise, right? And you're like, yeah. And it's like, okay,
Yeah,
step by step,
what should
day
we
by
do?
day, here's
Yeah,
how it's going to work, right? And then it talks on your behalf to other people as well. And then you can also have like simulated legal combat. So where you like, hey, Hal, I think this is like out of line. And Hal's like, well, let's see about that. And then it generates this whole sort of argument that goes to
yeah.
court virtually and then comes back and it's the employer's like, oh
Oh,
shit, I
that's
better
brilliant.
do
That's
this
brilliant.
thing. Or the employee's like, well, turns out I was just
Yeah.
wasting everyone's time.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. This is
And
such a good idea. The
dude,
one I was
what
thinking
should the
about
public
is,
company do? You could kind of
well,
do anything and you'd be popular if you had the
yeah.
system, but what should it do? Should
Well,
it
well,
should
that's
it
the
make
interesting
should
thing
it make and
because,
promote this system and sell this system?
but also it's you've got because say if you had a public company that had uh, an instance that you could ask questions of and it'll give responses about what the organization is doing. The
Mm,
very fact that you're asking is also an event.
mm,
And so if you have a whole bunch of shareholders saying, "What the fuck was that last tweet about?"
mm.
Then that rises to the top, and you
Mm.
go, "Oh shit, they shouldn't have
Yeah,
said
but
anything."
you should also
You
be able to do it based on the size of your shareholding. So you're like, well, that guy owns $5, so but this other guy owns 400
Oh yeah,
grand's worth. We better like,
exactly.
this is our
Yeah,
guy.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. And the
like,
guy who
listen,
owns 40% of the
this guy.
company just
Yeah,
has just asked the bot.
yeah,
Uh, I'm not sure these guys are on track.
yeah,
Can you give me the latest? And it's like now you got okay. We should actually do something about this.
yeah. Pay
Um,
attention. So what
the
should the
golden.
company do?
Sorry, what do you mean?
Well, what should we have to make a public company that uses this tool.
Oh, this one.
So
Well,
what
well,
should the company do?
Well, I think we should put everything that every notable event is logged there, so
Yeah,
that
yeah, I know that. I mean, what
what
is
do you
the
mean though?
purpose of the company? Like, what is it register? What does it raise for the purpose of doing? Like, what's its initial target?
Oh, right, okay. Well, I don't think this new idea, which I really fucking like, I think that's just another app on Dreamcatcher.
Yeah, I know, but we need a public company. The public company needs to run our system inside of it, right?
Yeah.
We've known that for a while. What we're talking about here would be like, next level kind of like operating ability. What should the company be trying to do with that
Well,
capability?
I think it's one of these bootstrapping things, isn't it? So, right, I don't think any of this changes what we're trying to do with the Dreamcatcher. The Dreamcatcher is still there in order to allow permissionless um, effort. That is the contribution and attribution, all that kind of thing is recorded, and you don't have to spend all this time with employment contracts and worrying out which percentage is owned by whom. You just turn up and do it, and you don't even have to say how much that is worth until the impact is known, or you can escrow. Still the key aim. Um, the running the company on Dreamcatcher, I think, is something we touched back way back in the Penkrish Skunkworks. Um, I think we've got an ability now to actually record everything and do everything through NL in order to allow the if we're going for publicly listed company, it's like, well,
Hmm.
here is your permissions to look into the stuff we're doing. Don't bother us. We're busy doing it. But that's just one app. I mean, okay, so you're busy doing that. What are you doing? Well, we're building
What
Dreamcatcher. Okay,
what
what
you're
else are you
doing?
doing? We're building a CRM. We're building X, Y, Z.
Oh, right. So we're
Um,
like, okay, we got this internal operating policy, which is the Dreamcatcher, and it
yeah,
includes the amine attribution, the impact crystals, and all that stuff.
yeah,
And we're saying that we're trying to commercialize this CRM. We
yep.
could be really funny, like
Mm-hmm.
really funny, haha, and say that our first app is to make um, operational operations management software for public companies.
Well, you know what? Well, this is another one. The selection and maintenance of the goal, right? Um, this idea from the last recording resonates so much with me that I know I've gotten a temptation that I want to go and start working on that. We need to get this CRM and bootstrap up all the stuff we're doing. But the next app, absolutely, I think we should be doing this. I really think we should be doing that, which is why I've just thrown that in there. I'll talk to Hal later on, get him to create an org bot, something. We'll find out. He'll give us a name, um, and we'll start recording the data. But this part is really resonant. I think it could be awesome, and that's partly because, well, you know me. One of the main problems I got, or the one anxiety I've got every time I wake up in the morning, is like, who am I going to fuck off because I've not got back to them? You know, because I'm down
Tell
this
me
rabbit
that
hole.
again. You actually have that issue.
I really do have that issue. It's like, who am I going to fuck off? Because
You would, like,
generally
in the
speaking,
nicest possible way, which I'm not sure is very nice. You are maybe the worst guy that I know at getting back to people.
yeah, I'm terrible, absolutely terrible. But
And you
wouldn't it
wake
be
up every morning
cool?
with a worry about who you fucked off by not getting back to them.
Oh, don't do anything about it. The worry.
Oh,
I
you
just
just have.
I just ignore it and go. Hopefully, it'll go away. And my running assumption is, if it's really urgent, then someone's going to scream loud enough that actually goes above like a base layer, and above that layer, suddenly I
Right,
notice.
right. Okay.
But that's not good. But anyway, so it's not untrue though, is it? At least I know. At least I know. I'm
Mate, at least you
aware of my
know. Yeah.
my worries. Uh, anyway, but yeah, so this thing we were talking about before. I would really like if we do this as the next app after the CRM, but for now, the CRM is the thing. We need to get that nailed.
Okay, but
Um,
I mean, does that doesn't stop us having an opinion on what the public company should do, right?
no, no, not at all.
So
Not
what
at
should the
all.
public company do?
Build Dreamcatcher, and then build apps on the
What? Build
Dreamcatcher.
Dreamcatcher. What's the return to shareholders of building Dreamcatcher?
Well, it depends on what money they put into stocks.
Well, the company, they put money into the company, and then the company puts it into the stocks.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. All
And
right.
then
Well,
Dreamcatcher.
yeah. Dreamcatcher is an ambient attribution system, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we can. This is gonna sound like very, very circuitous, but we will get Hal to describe the purpose of the public company that is founded to build Dreamcatcher. How about that?
Yeah, I think
Use it,
I
right?
think I could give that a decent go if we give it enough information.
Right,
Well,
right,
we've
right.
got God knows how many. I've the other thing I was just daydreaming about the other day was we've got so many recordings that actually I'm maxing out my hard disk. I'm having to offload the recordings now. Those can be transcribed, and given the point where the token limit was appropriate, we could just dump it in and see what we were talking about, which is a genius idea, which somehow 3 years ago we've completely forgotten. That was really pertinent. There's a whole wealth of information that we've recorded. But that's for another day.
Okay, doke.
It's like your notebooks. Dump all the notebooks in there,
Yeah.
and give it context about what you care about now.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
what should it's like, oh shit, did I come up with that? That's a really good idea. Forgot about
Yeah.
that. And then you stick it up on the Dreamcatcher, and then some other dude goes, oh right, I've already done that. I did that 2 years ago. I can do that. But in answer to your question, we're building the Dreamcatcher. We're building the Dreamcatcher by running an organization on the Dreamcatcher in order to write apps that run on the Dreamcatcher.
One more time.
So
One more time, please.
we are building the Dreamcatcher. We are running the organization on the Dreamcatcher. We are building apps on the Dreamcatcher because nobody else is going to turn up to start with. We're inviting other people to do it. And we are asking money to be poured in a big hopper at the start, at the top, as it were, in order to fund stocks. And the attribution is your payback. You don't have to wait for, anything else. You just pour money at the top and see what you come back. And here's all the data about what's happening, and you make your own decision and build your own bot to make good decisions for you.
Okay.
You sound unconvinced.
What is the Dreamcatcher?
The Dreamcatcher is a method. It's basically it's a new economic method, right? It's a way of reducing the friction that is embodied in all the.
Can you
in
say
the
what
code
you said
structures.
to me again about the org runs on Dreamcatcher?
Yeah.
We are building the Dreamcatcher. All that. Can you say that again, but just slow enough so that I can type it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, go.
So, we are building the Dreamcatcher. The organization that is building the Dreamcatcher is running its organization on the Dreamcatcher. To start with, we are going to be building apps on the Dreamcatcher that the org is building because nobody else is going to turn up to start with. And those apps will hopefully generate revenue.
Say the apps thing again. To start with, we are building apps.
Yeah, we're going to be our first user.
To start with, we are building apps for the Dreamcatcher or on the Dreamcatcher?
No, on the Dreamcatcher. So we're building a Dreamcatcher. So that's like the meta app.
Okay.
We're also building apps on the Dreamcatcher.
I'm
As
trying
a
to. You
bare
see what I'm
scratch
trying to
now.
do here, right? I'm trying to write a prompt. You keep changing what you're saying.
All right, let me do it actually, because
Okay.
not because of. It's probably because I'm not actually being clear enough, but I always find typing it.
Okay.
We are.
Do you want to share your screen so I can
org.
get in on the business too, or you?
No, I'm going to keep it to myself. Actually.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Right.
don't like transparency.
Don't like sharing.
We are an org that is building the Dreamcatcher. Dreamcatcher is a platform that is incomplete, but aims ultimately to reduce the friction typically experienced when building apps. We will be running the Dreamcatcher org using apps built on the Dreamcatcher. In order to prove the method. Let's start with, we'll also be building other commercial apps using the Dreamcatcher in order to bootstrap. Yes. Investors using the Dreamcatcher provide cash as a facility. Drawn down when required to solve stucks, knowing that they will get a return via attribution. Those investors can those investors can invest in the Dreamcatcher build project or any app being built on the Dreamcatcher. The use of the Dreamcatcher also generates revenue, which is owed to the investors choosing to escrow against stocks in the Dreamcatcher. Those investors wanting to invest in an app are owed through attribution when that particular app generates impact, and when the helps created for that app are used elsewhere. Okay, there you go. Right, that's probably more.
We are an org that is building the Dreamcatcher. The Dreamcatcher is a platform that is incomplete but aims
Ignore the titles.
ultimately to reduce the friction typically experienced when build apps. We will be running the Dreamcatcher org using apps built on the Dreamcatcher in order to prove the method. To start with, we will also be building other commercial apps using the Dreamcatcher in order to bootstrap its use. Investors, spelled like I'm 5.
Hey man, it's not spelling, it's typing.
Yes. Apps using the Dreamcatcher in order to bootstrap its use. Investors using the Dreamcatcher provide cash as a facility which can be drawn down when required to solve stucks, knowing that they will get a return via attribution. Those investors can invest in the Dreamcatcher build project or any app being built on Dreamcatcher. The use of the Dreamcatcher generates venue which is owed to the investors choosing to escrow against stucks in the Dreamcatcher. Those investors wanting to invest in an app are owed through attribution when that particular app generates impact and when the helps creates for that app are used elsewhere. Created.
Oh, so we stop it. There's no need for that. You didn't have to. You could have actually filled in the gaps for me there.
What could I? How would I do that exactly? I was typing, and then you were like, "No, let me." And now here we are.
All right. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, no.
Okay.
No, it doesn't, but that's what I'm trying to solve. Because I can't do much better. I'm not saying that. So can you take
probably
that?
type better. Yeah.
Can you take that block of text and put it into GPT-4?
Which is a zero shot. Or stick to how?
No, just plain. Yeah. And then after it, say, no, this is not what I.
Okay.
And then after it, say, given the above,
what? Go back to the text file.
You've got it still on the clipboard.
Yeah, no, but I want to keep it after this session. Given
the above, what is the Dreamcatcher in one statement?
Oh, this will be interesting.
And so once we get Artifact up and running, what I'd expect to happen is that the answer to that question would be part of the daily report. It should look at all information on all channels, and it should come back and say, this is what the Dreamcatcher is according to everything about it.
All right, let's give it a go then.
That is a great prompt decoration you just added there.
Which one?
You are too.
Oh, yeah. No, it's interesting. I've actually started.
You got the skills. You better not have. Oh my god! You need like another app that can de-prompt your messages to the rest of the world. What's for dinner? You are too. Respond. The Dreamcatcher is a development platform. You got some, you picked up some cracking prompting skills, I think.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of advice out there on prompting, and most of it's wrong.
Yeah, right. The Dreamcatcher is a development platform designed to streamline app creation, employing its own tools to demonstrate efficacy in fund development through investor facilities that yield returns from generated revenues and the broader application of created solutions.
Yeah, that's not quite right, is it? Okay.
Shit.
Use less corporate bullshit terms. Explain it as if I were a 20-year-old law student. This is quite a good one.
Man, fuck you. You've read a lot of stuff.
Because the platform makes it easy to build apps. It uses its own apps to show how well it works and gets funding.
That's really good. I disagree with that statement, but given the information it was presented with, that's an excellent summary.
I think we could probably have a session and like hone that in.
Just figuring that out, right? Because I think that yes, we are building the CRM, but we are actually building the Dreamcatcher first, and not having a clear statement. Yeah,
step by step is right.
I don't think you're gonna get out of this what I want to see, because we didn't put enough info in at the top.
Yep, but let me show you a trick here. This is probably not going to work.
So it sounds like what you just got here is a good prompt to use. Summertime.
Summarize in one paragraph.
Yeah. So I think you've got a good multi-shot prompt going on here. If all we did was change what we put in at the top.
Yeah.
You know, that's a really good set of prompts.
By using it to create its own apps, provides flexible investment opportunities, allowing investors to fund either the platform or individual apps. Returns are generated. That's closer to direct revenue from the platform and apps as well.
Yeah, I think what I'd want to do is I'd want to keep all your prompts the same, and then just keep changing or adding stuff in at the top. So I could basically start just dumping, and then like it just ripples through these it's like a pipeline prompt instead of multi-agent. It's just multi-step.
Yeah, it was chain of thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'd really want to do.
Yeah.
And then because it's coming out great, like the quality of the response given the input information is coming out great.
I know.
Man, you've done a lot of prompting, eh? Shit.
I've done a lot of pistol whipping.
Yeah. Okay.
Talking of which, do you want to pistol whip Atlas?
What?
So here's a blank Atlas. So this, let's just say we're in sync. I think this is useful for two reasons. You can get the kind of the feel for where I'm going. This is Atlas V02 is far from right, but I'll talk to it as if we weren't on the call, and what I'm trying to do here is to find out where the JSON and the prompts have gone wrong into doing something that I think is quite reasonable. If that makes sense.
Do you want to show me what you mean?
Sure. Well, the first thing is you always need to go high.
Do you? Why?
retrieve, because it's just sitting there and it doesn't know about these. Retrieve the files I've provided, which together describe a CRM for a trucking company. It's like it's almost like a bootstrap. It's like, otherwise you're just sitting there going, nah. Yeah, okay, so I've got a bunch of files. Yeah. Okay, and what I usually do here is I see if it's actually got everything that it should. Well, the very fact that it's returning it. So give me a scenario to hone down in. So
have you got any customers with the surname starting with J?
Oh, okay. Wouldn't have guessed that one. Okay. I need to tell them who I am. I'm agent. Customers whose first name, second name,
Last name.
last name. J. Yeah. Okay, that's great. And I'll retrieve. Thank you very much. Oh, there's Alice again. And Ivy. Okay. You've gone wrong with last name. We haven't called it last name. We've called it surname. Okay. So this is the point where I start to think about tightening up. What I
Okay.
usually do at this point is say no. I asked for last name. So, well, that's correct, but incomplete. So if it gets this wrong, what I usually then say is,
you're fired.
Nope. Okay, so what I usually do is say something like,
Hang on a second here. Victor Stores. Mr. Maxwell. I know the devil's voice when it whispers to me. And right now it's saying if our target goal is 10,000 customers, and the latest version of the OpenAI Vector Store can store 10,000 files, could we run the whole CRM out of the Vector Store?
well, kind of, I guess, but we would have to be real sure, because if you run it only through the vector store, as in that's your canonical data source, right?
Right. I could do both, right? Like I could keep the artifact copy, but I could maintain a current up-to-date vector store that had every customer, so that it had vector search in there. But what I don't get is like, would it get the chunking right? What do you think we would get, better or worse, if I put every customer into the vector store?
I'm not sure. It's worth a test. Ideally, we just want one big lump.
Ideally, hey.
Yeah. So, but I don't know what, where the state of the art is to allow that to happen with confidence. Yeah, see, I'm getting a lot now. And there's the correct thing. So, right. I think what happened there is the customer data, the field is that was not being translated to last name with a space. And so it was going for anything with name, I think.
Okay, so does that mean that the JSON structure should be changed to be more natural language-ish rather than variable names? Because keeping in
Possibly.
mind that you'd only call it last name in camel case like that for the sake of a programmer, not for the sake of an LLM.
Yeah.
And so really, yeah, the field should be last space name.
Let's see what it thinks it is. She's getting it.
Right?
Maybe. But you see, the important thing is the process, right? So what I usually do is do a challenge. Well, I set it up by saying retrieve it. Have you got everything? Yeah. And then I try and fuck with it. And then when it gets wrong, it's like no, 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 do it again. And then it's like apologize. Thank you for all that. That's fine. Yes, that's the right answer.
Okay, so I
And
guess
then,
the experiments we'd want is, look, I'm sorry to be rude.
no,
I,
that's all right.
I think
Well, number
it's a,
one, I don't mind. Number two, I don't think you're ever sorry. That's fine.
okay. Maybe that's what I'm sorry for. Running it out of the vector store, or at least having the vector store on hand with every kind of query. So we'd need to run an experiment to see if putting all the customer records in as one file has good results, or if putting each customer record into the vector store as a separate file has good results. Because let's keep in mind that we can modify the customer records to make the searching or common searching use cases be more effective.
So what would be we could restart this session, upload just the customer file, and then do exactly the same prompts and see if it gets it right or wrong. It might be the case that there's too much to consider here.
Now, well, what's in there? What's in the vector store?
I can't see inside the vector store,
That's
but
fucking annoying.
I can see these are the files I just uploaded.
Oh, those are all the files that are in it.
Yeah, and
I think you should make a separate vector store for the customer data, because you've loaded spec, but some of it is, see, the stuff that's not spec.
Yeah,
I think you should make that a separate data store.
Can you load up two vector
Yeah,
stores?
yeah.
How do you do that then?
The plus on files.
No, that just adds it to the same vector store, doesn't it? Well, let's try it. I think it does, but let's try it. Okay, give me a new assistant. So, here we are. There he is. So, if I were to upload only the data specs to start with.
Yeah.
Which are there, spec, 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 spec,
This is fun,
spec.
dude.
It's actually very amusing sometimes.
This is really helpful for me as well because I'm starting to get a better feel for how you're working and how I can make Hal.
Yeah, and also it's helpful for me because basically doing it in a vacuum.
Yeah, I know. Soon,
Good.
dude.
See, I
Okay, so
assumed
you go attach, right?
attach. Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
that's one
now
vector store.
click files again, and now is that gonna give you a new vector store?
I don't know. I've never tried this before. Data, 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 data,
Data.
data. Okay, well, let's find out. Attach. No, I think it's just adding it.
Just put it in the
I
same
don't. I
one.
don't know even if it's replacing.
Okay, so what I know for sure then is if you can you edit that and then just take out the data ones, add the data ones into the thread once you start talking to the assistant, and that'll definitely
Oh yeah. Okay.
make
Well, let's try that.
two
Right.
vector stores.
Let me get rid of this one first. So detach that. So we'll add the specs first.
Yeah.
And then in the prompt itself. Okay. Let's find out. Alright, so that's your overarching reason. Okay. Okay, so it's to say retrieve the specs and list. Make sure you've got them. I need to clarify which. Fuck off. It's like sometimes dealing with, those really pissy doormen you get in expensive hotels.
I don't know, dude. I've never been to an expensive hotel.
Alright, okay, here we go. Right, let's got it. So, next will be, let's just do customer data, and then we'll rerun that test.
No, add it in a vector store. In the thread. So go back into the thread. There's two types of vector stores. One is for the assistant, and the other is in thread, and they're two separate data stores. It might be the.
Oh, just attach them here.
No. I think it's what is the database symbol up next to logs in the top right give you? Files attached to thread. Threads files, file search. Yeah, if you do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Okay. I'll just add them all, yeah?
All the data ones, yeah. So the sys prompt got the specs and the thread got the data.
This is golden, actually. You know when you're working away by your... Well, of course you do.
Dude, it's all I do.
Down.
What do you mean?
It's like... And someone comes along and you, oh, shit, yeah. indexing, you index away. You've indexed away.
Wow, this is giving me epilepsy, the way this thing is.
Yeah. Yeah, it rewrites itself, actually. Come on. Don't need to do that much. Okay.
It's been on number
Right,
7 for a long time.
Yeah. It doesn't matter because it was... it was close.
What the fuck is going on?
Oh, I wonder if it's because we've just dumped a whole bunch of stuff in its memory.
It's phasing out. All right, so just... Okay,
so,
sweet. Now,
what was the previous thing?
customers with the last name starting with J.
Oh, well, actually, I'm not going to tell them who I am. Which customers do we have whose last name starts with J? I don't need to log in. Okay. Yeah, because that's one of the constraints.
I am your master.
Okay, you do it. Go for it. First, I retrieve data, customer data. Oh, this is interesting. I retrieved data on customer data specs instead of.
Yeah, do you need to tell it to load the data store data? Because the same way you told it to load the vector store at the start, do you need to tell it to load the thread files?
No. You just have to prod it with some information inside of it that needs to go and retrieve.
Oh, right. So can you say that? Like, how do you get it to?
I'd say
use the files named star data.json.
I don't think it knows this file names because I've tried that before and it didn't work. So
so it doesn't know how to it doesn't know how to distinguish between the data stores.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So I can say something like use the customer data. It knows what a data spec is, not a data spec. For example, customer data has a field.
So look, I just reading more about how the vector store works. They're not going to work for repetitive records very well because they only really retrieve the first 20 chunks. So they also they're not. They seem more intended to just hold knowledge in general as opposed to template formatted records.
Well, that's fine because we've got. I mean, the final intention is going to be isolate retrieving.
Well, yeah. Like there's still this is really a shortcut that you use because you can't afford to run the AI on every single record. But that's what we're trying to do. We're like, well, we can actually do every single record. And so, for example, last name starts with J. I would expect it to be a type of pattern that was like, okay, just run it on 10 at a time until you hit one. And when you hit one, get back to the user, and then ask, because it's expensive, you don't want to run it on everything just because someone made an off-the-cuff comment. You kind of want to incorporate laziness in it, where it's like, well, there's a cost associated, and I need like one user input per 10 cents spent, so if the query planner can forecast roughly how many tokens it's burning, and then it says, okay, I've reached my limit, I need the user to tell me to keep going in some subtle way, then that works too, and that will give a far better performance than the vector store because it's the whole record being processed as opposed to the vectorized form of the record. And so the vector search, I think, is actually not very good for these. The vector store is a shortcut when you can't afford what it costs to run the AI in parallel on everything.
Yeah. Now, the question is, what it was intended to do is to get us to a point with the CRM where the structure and the data and the data, well, not the data specs are correct, and we've proven it on the data, and we have a good bot prompt, and then to at this point test where any of those break down. I know I can get around this. For example, I can insist on here saying no, I have provided customer data, only use that and respond to my previous requests. And that should retrieve it. So you can pistol whip it, which, there you go. I got the right answer.
That is pretty good, man.
Yeah, so you can pistol whip it. So for now, that.
Yeah, but if we learned what the whipping was, we would just be able to include that in the agents. Like we might need a specific pistol whip agent that sort of like
that's right.
Its sole purpose is to whip.
Try again.
But that is high quality, right? I don't know if that's fully correct, but it looks close enough, man.
Yep, that looks correct to me. I know this data quite well.
And that's a random ass fucking query. Like it's a natural language query.
But you see what I'm saying? It goes all up its arse, like, you know, it's like, I'm sorry, I can't do that. How, Dave? Open the pod bay doors. Just fucking open the pod bay doors.
I think that's a consequence of the weight of the prompt weighing on it. Whereas if we were able to break up sections of that prompt to be per agent, and then nest the agents deeper and deeper, then
this is exactly why I was talking about effectively a bot is a function that deals with
a narrow thing, right?
Data. Yeah.
So if we arrange these agents so that they don't have to comprehend the whole fucking data spec thing as well, then
exactly. So what?
Hey man, I also know what else is going wrong with your experiments.
What's that?
You were putting the data specs in file search. File search chunks them up using 800 token chunks at a time, and then it only inserts into the prompt the top 20 retrievals. So to get the effect you really want, you need to insert the prompts fully, the data spec JSON fully into the context.
So what, into as a prompt?
As part of the sys prompt, as part of the sys prompt. Now, because
that's going to be a big sys prompt.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is that this is where scoping's important. Determining the intent and then declaring a scope means that you can load up the data spec for that scope and only that data spec, and then you can respond to queries about it, right? You don't need all the data specs. Like when you're dealing with the customers, you don't need the location data specs or the roles and responsibilities data specs. Only when it sounds like the user tried to change roles, that's when you need that data spec. And so I guarantee you that if you did a session right now where you asked it questions about customers that you'd been struggling with in the past, but you added the customer data spec into the sys prompt for that query, you will get outstanding results. That's what I bet you.
Okay, let's try it.
Yeah, I'm sorry that happened to you. That is
Which part?
the that we didn't pick up on the weakness of the vector stores for the purpose of what you were doing, because you showed me this days ago and I didn't click that that's why it was failing to perform.
Yeah, no, this is golden. It's absolutely golden. And there's something to be said about just keep buggering on, because you learn a lot of stuff in the peripheral. Anyway. All right, so
yeah.
So what you're saying? So that's the
top level prompt, and then you would say
yeah.
something like, the data spec for customers is, and then enter it in there.
Okay. Customer data spec. Yeah. Boom, boom. Okay, right. We're just doing this one thing. So, then what? Load up just the data. So it's got.
Load up just the data, just the customer data too. By the way,
just the customer. Oh, that's going to be dead easy. We're definitely going to get that, I reckon. Customer data. Customer service data. Yeah, where's it gone? There it is. Oh, it was a much smaller vector space as well, so I reckon it's going to get this first. Well, let's find out. Okay, so oh no, interesting enough, it doesn't know about permissions, so I'm not told about permissions. So I should just say list customers with what was the last name, wasn't it? Because I'm not told about any permissions, so there's no restrictions on anything. No, there's more in there. Where's Alice?
okay. Tell you what, can you drop the customer data in the prompt too?
Yeah. There's Alice and there's Ivy. He's got Jack wrong. Why has got Jack wrong? Why would he get Jack wrong? Oh, let's ask it.
Yeah. The quote I was looking for: beware of the man who works hard to learn something, learns it, and finds himself no wiser than before. He is full of murderous resentment of people who are ignorant without having come by their ignorance the hard way.
That's funny. That's funny. Okay, so you requested to discuss with the last name starting with a J, different with customers data you provided. I should have filtered. Keeps on apologizing. Just do it fucking right.
Right?
Ooh,
Don't say sorry. Just don't.
I wonder, is this a temperature thing? I've not tried ever changing this on the fly. Changing on the fly, does that work, you reckon?
For the next response, it works. Yeah, it's perfectly fine.
Okay, I'm going to ask it something.
You need to refresh the session because it's got like you need to delete back, because if you've already asked it questions, why did you get that wrong? Then it's gonna.
Yeah. So what did I do? I've not really messed around with temperature that much yet, but I suspect it's going to be fruitful. Okay, we added in the prompt in the customer data spec at the end of it, didn't we?
Okay, I got my 25-minute bell.
Okay.
This is really good though. Like I'm getting a much
I'm
better
getting a lot out
sense
of
of
this.
what's yeah.
I think we're going to be doing a lot of this over the next wee while. Okay, right. No files. Yeah. No, we add one file. Customer data.
No. Add the data to the prompt, not the file search. Yeah. Because I think this more accurately models how we will be using it in Artifact, because Artifact will be getting the multiple parallel calls will be given the full data.
Yeah, now let's get this exactly the same wording. Where was it? Try and control for as many variables. Jensen, yeah. No. Not complete. Ah, shit. Fuck.
Shite.
I didn't actually change the temperature.
Shite.
Oh, I can do it now because I've not actually done anything other than give it.
Shaitan, yeah.
Hey, for fuck's sake, man. What you doing? No changing the fucking temperature.
Shaitan, yeah.
Okay, let's see what happens.
Shaitan, yeah.
No.
Shaitan, yeah.
Okay, I'll try a couple tricks here. Yeah. Backing bolt. This is a really interesting nugget because
What's that?
it's a nice. No, it's a really interesting. Why is it getting this wrong? Because previously I was going through
yeah,
trying
well,
to figure
I
out the
guess
entire spec.
I guess we got to look at the data spec and see if there's something that's genuinely wrong there.
The data spec is as basic as it gets. Well, first of all, do we know how many
Where's Jack?
last names? One second. So we've got a Brown, a Davis, an Evans, Franklin, Green, Hill, Jensen. There's Ivy. So that's number 2.
Jack
And there's
Kellerman.
Jack. They get confused with something else.
And what about the data spec for, what about customer data spec?
Okay. Last name of the customer. Can't see anything there. I wonder if it knows about last names.
Oh, yeah, for sure it knows about that. What's in the prompt? What's in that sys prompt for Atlas?
Just like so,
Yep.
I'll kick this off and
Yep.
I'll show you.
What you did?
So that's Atlas. So what Atlas does, well, I will not read it out, but you can read it there. It's all about how to deal with the file structure, but nothing specific about any file.
Do you think that the intent where it says should is allowing it to feel like it's got leeway to say something nearby? Or no? You know what I mean? Like it's sort of.
Well, I could take out the intent and find out whether that makes a difference.
Oh man, this is starting to feel like coding. Yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, if only if that's what, if you think that's useful.
Specs. I just told it.
You could cheat and put it as one of the examples.
I'm gonna have to think about this.
Because I mean, if you totally deprompted Atlas and it got the answer right, then you know that something, you know, like this.
well, that's a way to try, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if we just go to our bog standard, okay. Here is data about customers. There's customer data. And what's the prompt? This. Interesting. I was expecting that to get it right. I was thinking there's a conflict somewhere. But there's no conflict. All we've given it is the raw, so why, when we've given it a field last name, is it fucking up? List all customers with. Well, let's see if we can pistol whip it. Maybe we're hitting some kind of internal limit thing. Oh, he's getting jacked incorrectly. And he's not had, there's no Alice. We got 3 J's, don't we? Alice, Ivy. Where's Ivy? Oh no, we got 2 J's and 1 incorrect. Yeah, that's right. Maybe this is definitions. Maybe it's not enough just to put in a JSON field record. Okay. I want to try something. JSON. He's lost some information there. Doesn't know what our surname is. Okay. Maybe JSON's not the best way to go. Maybe it counts a field name as something specific as opposed to and can't interpret it.
Yeah, right? Like it might be, yeah.
There's a text for that. Where have we got a clean one? Yep. Okay. What have I said to this one? So all it's got is that, right? Okay. Stop the jack in there. Okay. No, I don't need that. I just do partial. Just a test. might be it.
What was it?
Or just started a new, just straight chat, and I put it in as unformatted text. I
Right.
didn't even tell it what a last name was.
Oh, so you think maybe it's not actually
I
it's
think
not
it's treating
interpreting the keys of JSON correctly. It's not making the
right.
jump between a variable name and a natural name.
Yeah, I think
And
so. I
yeah.
think yeah, suspect the context is you're asking for something in natural language, and I wonder if there's a corollary here where I could say the JSON file provided includes a field called last name to retrieve all records. Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't it.
That's quite frustrating. It must be something to do with it doesn't interpret a variable name as a piece of natural language, or the like JSON can often have JSON schema as a way of describing what the structure of the JSON is. And so in one of the fields in JSON schema is a description field. If perhaps the description field was present for the last name in the JSON schema, it might fare better as understanding truly what the last name means. Right? Like it might
Yeah,
know
I see what you're saying.
it might know to not attach too much meaning to a variable name, but it might know that when there was a JSON schema description, that's a better thing to read.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe.
So what you're saying is it could even be in a kind of definitions prompt saying by anything whenever I talk about last name, I do this in text. So it covers surname and any other variations. What I'm meaning is personal info, comma, last name. Kind of thing. So now mapping sort of thing.
No. So JSON schema. Can you bring up the data spec for customer data?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now under schema, see where it says last name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, you've already got that. Oh dear. You've already got that.
I wonder if I were to just drop. Okay, one last thing and then probably need to go. I'm going to just try another zero shot. Okay, so I'm going to drop this. Actually, no, let me prompt it first. I just close it? No. I'm sure I just closed it. I'm wondering whether the specs and the data are not closely coupled enough. That didn't work. Right, I'm gonna have to go.
Okay, sweet.
This has been hugely valuable.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on this and figure out why. Because there's no point going wider until I can do this simple task.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, doke.
Yep.
Catch you later.
Yep. See you next time tomorrow.
Okay. Good luck in the solar storm.
I'm just pissed I missed the rollerball. Right. All right. I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. See you later.